Hello everybody, welcome to the preview show for the 2023 Hungarian Grand Prix. It's the halfway stage of the season. Despite 2 races being cancelled, it would still mark the halfway point of the season. But it's no longer the last race before the summer break, with the Belgian Grand Prix sort of being crammed into the end of July. There's a weird feeling here. Usually this is the summer break, everyone comes here, we've got a usual understanding about where the championship's going to go. This year we've got that, but also they're still bringing upgrades. Most notably Red Bull. We'll get on to that in just a second. Alongside me is Jess and Omi to preview this weekend. And Jess, starting with you, fresh off the back of Silverstone as well, seeing an F1 race in person. Go on, give us all the details. You sent over some clips. We had that in the show 2 weeks ago, but it looks awesome. How was it?
Oh, the atmosphere was electric. Everyone was just excited to be there. Even I chatted to some people I didn't know as well, and they weren't enthusiastic. It was just really, really surreal, really. And I hope to go next year, but yeah, it was amazing. And it was a good result that came out of it, with 2 British drivers on the podium with Lando Norris and Lewis Hamilton. And it's good to see that relationship blossom between the two. You can tell that Lewis is very fond of Lando Norris.
Did you ever find your earplugs?
No. I didn't. Someone's probably found it and it's theirs now, so I'm not bothered.
Perfect. Anyway, yeah, so brilliant weekend all around. The weather sort of played a factor at one point as well. You luckily managed to avoid quite a lot of it in your grandstand area, but what was the overall feeling? Because there were some people saying that Silverstone didn't feel quite right compared to previous years. Did you feel like it was a happy atmosphere down there? Was everyone happy?
I couldn't really tell, really, because it was my first time. But I think because the fact that we got a good result out of it, it was generally quite nice. I think I was quite lucky in terms of I had fast track access, so I was able to not queue for that long. But I think I saw a TikTok clip on Sunday where if you didn't have fast track and if you arrived quite late, in around 11, 12 o'clock, they would be queuing for hours. And the fast track was definitely worth it. I think it was only an extra 15 quid or whatever.
Definitely worth it as well. Omi, coming to you, welcome back. Week off, everybody had me and Megan covering it all for IndyCar and Formula E last weekend. So I know you've been chomping at the bit. I believe you put in the comms chat that you were so missing the commentary box that you were actually shouting phrases out during the Formula E races.
Alex Jake's phrases? Are we surprised?
No, I'm not. Not one bit.
Well, okay, before I get on to me, Jess, I did have a question. How was the security there? Because I saw a few complaints on Twitter, all over Twitter. How are they there? Did you have any issues with them?
No, not really. I had no problems with it. What they did was they checked the bags of people coming in, but I think that on one of the days they checked every other bag, which was weird. But I know on Sunday they checked every bag, and they didn't check all of it. But if it looked like it wasn't anything fishy in my bags, I was just like, yep, you're fine, carry on.
I would love to see.
You didn't have any issues. Because I saw a lot of people on Twitter were getting shouted and sweared at by them.
Oh yeah,
yes,
I remember. I think it was it went at the end of the race. I remember on when people were getting pictures of the track. I couldn't stay for a moment long because I needed to go to the toilet, and B, it was too crowded, and me with my autistic things, I can't handle loud crowds for a long period of time. But apparently someone was told to leave quite quickly, and someone sweared at her, and it's just like, that's a bit rude, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Is that it didn't feel like a normal Silverstone. Everything felt like it was a bit more pressured on as well, and that's not what we want to see.
Probably due to the protesters maybe last year, maybe the security a bit more heightened than previous years, maybe.
And speaking of security, we come now actually to one of the worst tracks on the calendar for security as well, because the Hungarian Budapest security systems that are on course on the outer parts of the circuit are hired by a local firm, and to put it pretty much normally they're thugs. And last year, Philip Horton, who was a photographer and a journalist as well with Formula One, was punched and got a broken nose. And Martin Brundle has been accosted many a time out there. So, it's not great. No, because they're the security guards and they're pretty much the main police force there. So it's not great. So
Because
everyone
there
is
was
take
police.
care.
There was in our grandstand before the race. There was literally police just looking at us, standing by the gravel trap at the Hamilton Straight. They were literally there until the race started.
That's good to stop all the protesters, I suppose. Like
Yeah,
you said earlier.
they were there. So that was a good thing. That was a good thing.
One thing I do want to say, because you've probably seen more than anybody now with you being there, the filming for Apex Grand Prix as well. Brad Pitt was out there as well. As he's, was it number 7, Sunny Hayes, whatever it was. How much did you see that? Because it was quite clever on the world feed, because they were on the formation lap as well at the back. They all came into the pit lane. We never actually saw the cars at the back of the grid, but you could see them on the track. And in between all the official sessions, you've sent in photos. They were all there doing laps around, doing all the filming. So what was that like, having looks at part of the films? What were they mainly doing?
They were mainly just going around the track. They were mainly just going around doing laps, and they also were doing stuff in the wet as well, which is quite cool. And they had cameras on top of them as well, and yeah, they were going quite fast. And even when I couldn't see them, you can hear them from miles.
And Brad Pitt was actually driving that car, I must point out as well. He's been given training by professional racing drivers.
I thought it was stunt.
No,
drivers.
it's actually Brad Pitt driving the car, and he's got a super license as well, temporary. So he's passed all the relevant tests. He's been doing it all, and he was actually out there driving the car. He's part of his method acting, whatever it is, as well. But like how Tom Cruise does all his own stunts. Brad Pitt is once again here this weekend in Hungary. The 11th team will be on the grid for the rest of the season now. So that team's going to be following around for the remainder of the year. They've done some private filming at some other tracks as well on the F1 calendar. So that is good news, but they will still be here this weekend. Coming to this weekend, though, and I'll come with you, Omi, on this one, Red Bull. New side pods, the slim pods that they're going to be talking about as well. New sort of like paper thin inputs. Averaging, they're thinking, another 2/10 gained on the rest of the field. Should we just wrap up now, not bother with the last 11 races and just hand every trophy to Red Bull? Because that is, if it works as well as it says, that's going to be insane performance this weekend.
I'd kind of rather not watch this Hungarian Grand Prix and all of the races to come. But yeah, I'm hoping that is not true. But if it is, then it's gonna make it even more boring for us. There'll be nothing to watch, and yeah, I guess we can just skip the rest of the season then.
Yeah, and Jess, you were at Silverstone as well. You saw the McLarens as well. They've had genuine upgrade on pace as well. Do you think they could transfer that over from Silverstone to here? Because Lando was constantly on the pace. He was constantly attacking Max Verstappen throughout the British Grand Prix. So do you reckon that could sort of transfer, that they are now sort of up there in the team? Oh, you're on mute.
I hope so. Sorry about that.
No worries, go on.
Well, I hope that McLaren does have the genuine pace. That Lando Norris showed it in Austria, so that's probably why it's given me a bit more hope that it could transfer in Hungary too. But you never know. I'm not sure. Has Piastri got more upgrades this weekend?
I think he's got a new floor upgrade this weekend as well to line him up with what we see. But we're not going to know everything, unfortunately, until tomorrow at the start of practice. But that's what we've been seeing. But another question for you is, Jess, we both remember Fernando Alonso getting his first ever win in Formula One back in 2003, 20 years ago now. He has been saying, I think I could do it this weekend. We've got weather incoming that could affect the qualifying as well. It's a tight track to overtake at. After Monaco, it's this place which is the hardest to overtake at. Could we see Alonso win this weekend, or is it going to be another Red Bull dominance?
It depends on what upgrades they brought, because even in Silverstone, they weren't looking that good. But Hungary's a track where Alonso has done well in the past, obviously with his first win, and with that incredible defence with Lewis Hamilton and Fernando Alonso back in 2021. That was electric. It just showed that I think Alonso has proven now that he's a team player. He's able to help his teammate, and his teammate is able to help him, and it's just generally a good environment. I do hope someone other than Red Bull wins. I think McLaren have more of a chance, but if Alonso wins, I wouldn't mind that. That will be, I think, a a good story. It'll be his third win, and that will be a full circle, as it were, because his first win was in Hungary, believe it or not. So that'll be great to see. But one other driver that potentially could look good, maybe Lewis Hamilton has been on a high for the last few races. Maybe he can challenge maybe the Red Bulls this weekend. I don't know. I'm just getting my hopes high here, but I think I can see both Alonso and Lewis Hamilton doing well this weekend.
And of course, there's another driver we've got to bring in, and we'll start with Omi on this one, then work back to Jess as well. The news broke over the last 2 weeks that after the running at Silverstone for the tyre testing going into 2024 with Pirelli, Danny Ricciardo was back. He was driving the Red Bull and he was setting quite impressive sector times. Christian Horner rang up Helmut Marko, who said, give me 30 minutes and I'll ring you back. And he called Christian Horner back to say, I've fired Nick. So it was pretty much in that 30 minutes of a gap that Nick de Vries is out of Formula One, Danny Ricciardo back in for the rest of the season. Whole talking point, we'll be talking more as going into practice tomorrow. But I think, Omi, as well, getting back to you, and then Jess, I want to get your thoughts because you're not with us the rest of the weekend. It's good to see Danny Ricciardo back, but the question for you, Omi, is, was Nick de Vries poorly treated? He didn't even get half the season under his belt.
Yeah, personally, I think he definitely was treated badly, and it was basically just for Red Bull to help them in the future with. It's going to give them a lot of information with the Red Bull seat, the second one, with what's going to happen with Perez, where does Tsunoda compare to Ricciardo. So it answers a lot of questions for them. So they selfishly removed de Vries. But yeah, so it is harsh for de Vries, but I think Red Bull did it for their benefit.
And Jess as well, is he deserving of a seat back, Danny Ricciardo? This is a driver who has had one race win in the past 7 years. I mean, it's quite shocking to say that with Danny Ricciardo, isn't he? He only had flashes of brilliance, but he left Red Bull to go to Renault because he believed that was the better powertrain. Then he went to McLaren because that didn't work out, and then he's left Formula One again. Can we trust him? Has Danny got his mojo back, and can we trust him?
It's too early to tell, I think, and I have to say, before I talk about Danny Ricciardo, AlphaTauri was very harsh about not saying anything about Nick de Vries' departure. All it was Danny Ricciardo is signed back to the team with no mention of Nick de Vries on what he's done, because to be fair, he didn't do too good. No offence. But there was some times where he was getting close to points, close on Tsunoda's level. In Silverstone, he wasn't even that bad in terms of the race. He did quite well. So, yeah, I just felt that was a bit harsh on the team. I think it should have been a bit more of a goodbye for him, and he didn't get it. But with Ricciardo, hopefully, I mean, he's moved in many more teams as we can count, and I think there's definitely going to be another piece on Drive to Survive. There always is every year about Ricciardo, so let's just hope he's good in AlphaTauri. The car is not the best right now, but if he can outperform Tsunoda, if Perez doesn't do well at the end of towards the end of the season, maybe Ricciardo could get the Red Bull seat back, because I think Perez was obviously close to Verstappen at the beginning of his career, but I think for most of the seasons, the one that was close to Verstappen was Danny Rick, because obviously he was in the team for a bit longer than all the others, so he's got used to it. So I think Danny Rick is probably closer to Max Verstappen's level, but maybe Red Bull's a much calmer environment for him, maybe, I don't know.
We're going to look forward to seeing that, though, throughout the rest of the year. And Sergio Perez pretty much knows his time at the main team might be up. Christian Horner has said that there's nothing wrong with Checo, but Checo has not got into qualifying 2 now for the past 6 races? It's getting a bit much, isn't it? Do you reckon that Perez could get swapped out before the end of the year, or they're going to see it out, then bring Danny Rick back next year?
Yeah. They're going to see it out, I think. There's no way they're going to pack their bags sooner, because otherwise it's going to be a little bit of a switcheroo, I think. But yeah, speaking of Red Bull drivers, great to see Liam Lawson doing well in Super Formula. So I think he's found his mojo at the moment. Obviously, he's not in F2, but he's signed into Super Formula, and he's taken a lot of wins recently, and he's 1 point behind the championship leader currently. So good to see Liam Lawson up there doing his thing in a different series.
Yeah, Christian Horner said this morning as well, it'd be unfair to put him into the seat with absolutely no experience as well and sort of throw him in at the deep end, which I found quite comical considering that's exactly what they did with Alexander Albon in the mid half of the season when he got promoted to Red Bull with zero experience. He only had half a year. So that's going to be quite good. I think Liam could be there. Omi, one question to you before we throw to Lap Attack as well. Could this now with Danny Ricciardo put pressure on Yuki Tsunoda? Tsunoda's saying, no, I'm not going to be looking at it, but Tsunoda is a driver as well who's underperforming in a Red Bull seat. Do you reckon that this could be curtains for him and next year we could see, either Ricciardo versus Lawson or Perez and Lawson at AlphaTauri?
It is definitely going to be very interesting, but if Tsunoda was to perform Ricardo, it kind of does make it good for his future, I think. If Ricardo performs, if Ricardo outperforms Tsunoda, which is kind of expected, I'd say it would be pretty much over for Tsunoda. But if he does beat Ricardo, then it definitely does open a lot of opportunities for him.
Definitely.
Well, Jess, Omi, thanks for your time. We'll see you again shortly. But right now, let's take a look around the Hungaroring. Back in 1986, it was the first race behind the Iron Curtain. Since then, it got lifted, and the circuit has become described as Monaco without the barriers. Let's take a look at it now with Lap Attack. Let's take a look at the Hungaroring in Budapest. 2.738 miles, 14 turns in total. They describe this place as Monaco without the barriers. Just the one DRS zone and 14 corners, but it's a fan favourite. Good exit on the last corner and then booted hard on the run down towards turn number 1. Now, it's a downhill braking zone as well and it's quite treacherous in the wet. So take a long sweep in, third gear, inside line. You're already on the power at the exit with the DRS open as you run down towards the kink at turn 2. It's sort of a double apex hairpin. You sort of throw the car in and hope it sticks to the centre of the track. Kink at 3 rises you up the hill towards turn number 4. Right at the top of the hill, fast speed, down 2 gears, flick the car in, don't go all 4 wheels off the track. Now it narrows up as well. Up through 6, 7 and 8 chicane is really tricky. Single file, nasty bumps either side. It really unsettles the car. Now this is the most feared part of the track. Single file, quite quick, sort of Mickey Mouse, backwards and forwards. Think Maggotts and Beckett's, but a lot tighter. Out of turn 11 and 12, the car wants to open up and sing, but it's sort of held back. It's like you've got a dog on a lead. Down now in towards turn 12, flick the car in, back on the accelerator. Turn 13, lovely. Concrete inside, nice and slippery in the wet, but nice and dry and grippy coming in the race. Last corner, turn 14, similar to what we have at the Nürburgring. Flip the car in, take a nice tight line, a lot of power at the exit. You can keep up across the line, and that is a lap of the Hungaroring. Okay, let's take a look then at what the drivers had to say in the press conference. Here's the 2 parts with Tom Clarkson.
To the drivers' press conference ahead of the FIA Formula One Hungarian Grand Prix. 2 groups coming your way as ever. Let me introduce the first gang. Welcome back, Daniel Ricciardo. Then we have Oscar Piastri, Max Verstappen, Carlos Sainz and Pierre Gasly. Well, Daniel, it's good to see you. How does it feel to be back?
Thanks, Tom. Good to see you too.
We're quite close to each other.
We've never been, yeah, I like Tom. He's all right. We've never been that close.
Physically.
Thanks. It's good. It's good to be back. Yeah, it's, I don't know. It feels kind of, I don't know. It doesn't feel that foreign. Like it feels familiar. I guess it hasn't been that long. But yeah, it's good. Very good. A lot of people are happy, so that's good as well.
Has your return to Formula One come sooner than you expected?
Yeah, for sure. But I think getting back into the Red Bull family this year, it brings back a lot of like old feelings and things that I was used to, you know, growing up and being part of that team or, you know, the junior team when I was younger. And I think one thing it was always like, just be prepared. You know, you never know what's going to happen. So yeah, let's say I didn't expect to maybe be in the car in Budapest, for example, but I was like, yeah, just you never know. So surprised, but maybe not that surprised.
Struck up your old friendship with Helmut Marko as well.
Yeah, Yeah, it's been good. Like, I don't know. I've enjoyed this year in general. You know, just going to the races and, as I said, being back in the Red Bull family. I think it's been a lot of fun, and it also personally gave me, you know, some time away, which I felt was definitely needed. And I feel like I've, you know, as I said, I probably expected the year off. Obviously, I haven't got the whole year, but I've actually felt like I've got enough time that fueled me, energized me, and I'm like definitely ready to go again.
What is the coolest thing you've done whilst sitting out the first 6 months?
Oh, well, it was just like little luxuries, like having a bit more time to just not be on a plane every few days. But you know, it's funny how used to that kind of cadence you get. So, you know, as much as it was nice to maybe spend a bit more time at home or do some things with friends, you know, I went to a buddy's bachelor party, which I don't think I've ever done, so that was cool. It was in a little place called Vegas as well, so these are things you don't normally do during a season.
We want to see the pictures.
I'll show you later. But anyway, it was that was just some fun things, but it's just more having a little bit more, I guess, free time. But that being said, I feel like I got my fix, and we're back, and I'm happy to be back.
Now, we're told that you got up to speed very quickly last week, driving the Red Bull at the Pirelli test. What are your expectations with AlphaTauri?
Well, I know, you know, the car I drove a week ago was a pleasure for sure, and that was something for me that was just so nice to get back into a car again, and just it was the last box I kind of needed to tick to just make sure that, you know, this is what I truly want. And I kind of quickly got that into that flow. So that was good. I obviously know that, you know, this weekend and now for the rest of the season, it's a different car and for sure with some different challenges. But I'm just going to get out there, kind of not think too much about it, drive, and then kind of go from there and just take some steps forward after that.
Final one from me. What are you doing about the physio situation in the team? Because your old guy, Michael Italiano, is now working with Yuki. So what happens? Are you sharing Michael, or have you got a new guy coming?
So I'm Lone Wolf. Lone Wolf, is that what you call it?
When's the wolf back?
Was it?
To Vegas.
So I got Piru helping me out. You might know him as Piri. I don't know, but I got the right pronunciation. So Piru's going to just help out on race weekends just for just to kind of make the flow of the weekend go a little smoother. But like a lot of things in this time off, I also I always said if I come back to the sport, I want to do things a little differently. So, you know, this year I also wanted to find that like self-motivation and make sure that, you know, I wanted it to come from me, you know what I mean? Like, so the training, all of it, like the mindset, I wanted to get back into the sport because it's truly like coming from me and what my heart desires. So I've been doing it myself this year, and it's I've got the answers I wanted.
All right, well, look, best of luck this weekend and for the rest of the season. Oscar, can we come to you now? It is the first time since 2013 that we've had two Aussies on the grid. Can we get your reaction to the news that he's back?
Yeah, I'm very happy for him to be back. I remember watching when it was two Aussies last time around. So no, it's very, very cool. You know, we're from a long way away, and it's pretty rare to have two of us at the same time. So from a country with such a small population relative to Europe, it's very, very cool to have two of us on the big stage.
And Oscar, you come... Microphones, lads, we've got them,
I
yeah.
was asking how old he was when he was watching 10 years ago, so he was 12.
Yeah,
so
I was 12.
It's crazy.
Now, Oscar, you come here on the back of a very strong result at Silverstone. You finished fourth, so close to a P3 finish as well. Do you look back on that race with a sense of satisfaction or frustration?
Mostly satisfaction. I mean, compared to where we had been at points during the season, to be disappointed with fourth place seemed a little bit harsh, but without that safety car, there's always the question of what could have been. But I was just super happy to be back towards the front, and for the whole team, to be genuinely there on merit was very refreshing and a nice reward for our hard work, I think. Now we've got to try and maintain that and try and fight towards the front again. So, I was thinking there might be a trophy coming my way for quite a lot of that race, but hopefully I've got some more chances.
Now, you've put in some strong performances this year already. With this upgraded McLaren, are you the most comfortable you've been in Formula One?
Yes and no. I think the car is obviously a fair bit quicker than what we had at the start of the season. I think it still has quite similar strengths and weaknesses that we've started to address, but still needs some more work. So the car doesn't feel massively different. It's not like it's a completely different animal to drive now. So that we'll have our strong tracks. I think Silverstone, with all the high-speed corners, suited us quite nicely. Here's obviously a much lower speed circuit, so we'll see how we go. I think we'll try and be optimistic that we can stay more towards the front, but whether we'll be fighting for a podium again, I'm not quite sure.
All right, best of luck. Thank you, Oscar. Max, coming to you now. Can we just get a word on your former teammate being back and, of course, replacing your fellow countryman, Nick de Vries?
Yeah, I spoke already quite a bit with Daniel last week. I could see he was very excited. Also after, of course, driving our car. So yeah, of course, it's great to have Daniel back on the grid within the family. Of course, on the other side, I'm also good friends with Nick, so it's also sad to see him go. But unfortunately, that's also how this world works. I mean, I don't think there are any hard feelings, between the drivers. That's just how it goes. But yeah, you have to move on. I mean, there are a lot of other opportunities out there. It's not only Formula One, in this world of racing. So I'm sure everyone just, will land back on its feet like normal. And yeah, you move on. And now the opportunity is here with Daniel again. He had his little reset, I think, including Vegas. So I think he's ready to go again.
And Max, let's talk records now. The record for 12 consecutive wins has stood for 35 years. Who or what can stop you guys from achieving that this weekend?
I don't know. I'm honestly not really thinking about that. I'm just here to have a good weekend. Of course, I try to win. I'm not going into this weekend thinking we can win 12 races in a row. So yeah, if we win, that means, of course, we break that record. But it's more important that we win.
And what about the upgrades you're running this weekend?
They look good.
What does the sim? They look.
No.
good.
I mean, normally it makes the car a bit faster, but it also looks nice. So.
What does the sim tell you? Where do you think it's going to improve?
In the corners, mainly.
Should these guys be worried? I mean, it's not like you've been slow so far this year.
I mean, everyone, of course, naturally always tries to improve their car, right? So that's also what we are trying to do.
All right. Best of luck this weekend. Thank you,
mean,
Max.
yeah.
Carlos, let's come to you now. It's a bit of a golden age for Spanish sport at the minute. First, John Ram wins the Masters a few months back. Then Carlos Alcaraz wins Wimbledon last weekend. Are you feeling the pressure?
Of winning Wimbledon? For sure not. No, just proud. I guess proud, no, for my country, and we seem to have this relatively small population for a country like Spain, no, but we still seem to produce some good athletes out there, since Rafa, Fernando, basketball team is always good, football team is always good. I don't know, we seem to be doing well in sports, and now with golf, tennis, also again with Alcaraz. It's a good time to be Spanish and to follow sports, because you have a lot of fun on the TV watching every Sunday someone win or someone doing well or someone to support and be excited about. And just proud of my country and the athletes we produce.
Now, Carlos, let's talk performance. Silverstone was a bit disappointing for Ferrari after two strong races preceding that. Do you understand the issues at Silverstone, and what are your expectations for Hungary?
Yeah, I do. And I actually, if you remember, before Silverstone, I was the first one to say, wait for Silverstone, no? Because I had the feeling that going back to a proper high-speed track, windy track, I felt like we had done some good steps forward, but there's still, especially in this tight battle for second behind Red Bull and Max, the teams are very, very tight. And it's very close between Mercedes, Aston Martin, now McLaren, see if Alpine joins, or or not, but it's really, really tight. So it's going to be one weekend you're going to be a tenth in front, another weekend you're going to be a tenth behind, and it's a swing of 2 tenths that it could change just the outcome of the whole weekend, and you could look like, oh, now we're back in P2, P3, P4, and then the next weekend you're P7 and P8, and the result change is massive, but the relative performance that you've gained or lost is actually not that much. It's just that the track suits you better, or McLaren better, or Aston better, or Mercedes better, no? So I think it's important not to overreact and just know that so far there's going to be good weekends and not so good weekends.
And the Hungaroring?
Hopefully a bit better. I think we are all a bit hopeful that Hungaroring should suit us a bit more. But again, it will depend, unfortunately, with our car, it depends a lot on the track temperature, it depends a lot on the wind situation. We know we have certain weaknesses that make us vulnerable and make us sensitive to these kind of things, no? But if conditions are good for our car, I think we should be relatively strong around here.
All right, best of luck to you. Pierre, thank you for waiting. Can we kick things off just by getting your thoughts on the driver changes that have happened at your former team, AlphaTauri?
We talked with Daniel a bit earlier last week, and also with Nick. Obviously, I know them both. I think they're two fantastic drivers, and it's great to see Daniel back on the grid, and seeing what's up for grab with him, and obviously kind of sad to see Nick going, because I've known him for the past, probably 15 years, so just know he's a great guy, and at his chance probably didn't achieve as much as he would have liked, but just want to wish him the best, and as Mike said, there will be plenty of opportunities out there for him. Any advice you'd give him when it comes to working with Franz? He's old enough, and he knows Franz well enough to know what to do with him. But no, I just think he's great. I mean, he started there, he's back there now. He still has plenty of years ahead of him, and always enjoyed some battles with him on the racetrack. So hopefully it's going to be the case. Pierre, what about performance at Alpine? Silverstone was ultimately disappointing, with neither you nor your teammate finishing the race. Are you expecting better things here in Hungary? Yeah, I mean, the final result looked kind of, really, really bad for us with 2 DNF. I think, ultimately we were fighting with Fernando for a majority of the race, and the performance wasn't as bad as the final result. So there's, we know we got to improve performance. We know we got to find more speeds. We are not fighting for the position that we will like at the minute, but it's not like we miles behind, so we just got to keep our head down and bring more upgrades on the car, and do the talking on track here. All right, best of luck to you as well. Now let's open this to the floor. Who's got our first question, please? Yes, name and publication.
Thank you, David Croft, Sky Sports F1. Welcome back, Daniel. I think this is the happiest press conference we've had for some time. I don't know if that's got anything to do with your return or not. But it's good to see you back, although you're going back to your ex. And they say sometimes you shouldn't go back to your ex because it's fraught with potential problems. Is this fraught with potential problems?
You have experience with that? Or?
No,
okay.
Absolutely no experience. I've just read about it on the internet. Quite happy with my current fiance. Thank you very much. Are there any pitfalls with going back to your ex at this time? And if not, give me 3 good reasons why it's the right time for you to go back to Faenza.
It's all good. It's all positive. That's 2. What's another one?
It's not. It's just
lots
one
of optimism.
statement.
Well, the team has. So I was there last week. The facilities changed a lot in the last 10 years since I was there. So it felt like a, let's say, a new team or a fresh environment. But also, like, 10 years is a long time. That team's changed. I've changed. So I don't really like. There's a nice kind of nostalgia going back. But I feel like we both evolved, and I'm starting this next phase chapter with a very kind of fresh, page. Also for me, I needed to, after, let's say, stepping aside from the sport for a little bit, I think I kind of changed probably my perspective on things, and I don't know. So I'm just coming into this without any oh, what's it going to be like? Oh, it's going to be a struggle here. It's going to be frustrating. Like, it's not. I'm just happy to have this opportunity. I think just getting an opportunity again inside the Red Bull family is something I'm really appreciative of. So that's really where my head's at. Just try and enjoy it. I'm sure we'll have some work to do, but I'm not going to solve every problem this weekend. So it's really just about me getting back into that kind of the race weekend and the flow. And last week, of course, it was a very good car I drove, but it filled me with some confidence. So try to take a little bit of that into this, but also not expect the world, just day by day.
Thank you. We're going to make a very quick switch and come back with some questions from the print media in just a minute. Part 2 of our drivers' press conference here at the Hungaroring. This time, Zhou Guanyu, Fernando Alonso, Logan Sargent, a slightly different-looking Nico Hülkenberg, and George Russell. Now, Zhou, let's start with you. You're closest. What have you been up to since we last saw you? And I'm thinking specifically of Wimbledon.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, I got invited to watch. There was a choice between even women's final or men's, so I went to the men's on Sunday before heading over this weekend. So that was really fun. Actually, the first ever time. I don't really play tennis myself, but actually, first match I watched, that was quite impressive, to be honest. Just how silent it is before every serve, that's quite impressive to see. Where Formula One, you have like massive DJ music before on the starting grid. Bit different, but yeah, it was really enjoyable actually. Both players put an incredible show on that day.
Fernando, were you tempted to come over to Wimbledon and watch that final?
No. It was enough. One week in Silverstone already. Yeah.
Now, Zhou, let's talk about the performance of your car. The last couple of races have been hard for you and Alfa Romeo. What have been the issues?
Well, Silverstone, to be honest, I think in terms of the preparation and throughout the weekend, we didn't do an exactly perfect job. Especially, obviously, from my side, there was an issue before FP3 where we made a massive change during the day, during the night, with the setup before heading over for qualify. So I have no, let's say, practice into it. And then quali was down, was okay, and then last lap was only dry lap I got, so didn't really maximize everything, which sacrificed quite a bit the weekend. But yeah, it's clear, like as a team made maybe a more visible step forward compared to the upgrade we bought into Silverstone. So it's been not easy one so far, and clearly lacking a little bit of pace compared to where we want it to be.
Well, do you think that pace will translate here at the Hungaroring?
I think, we shouldn't be, as further back as we were in Silverstone, because Silverstone is a track, obviously you have high speed, but also you have a lot of long straights, and a lot of corners are flat now. The Copse or this corner is almost flat. So I think here will be a little bit stronger, and obviously we have no upgrade for this weekend, but we just need to figure out, get a bit more on top of what we actually got before the summer break. So
the team were overtaken by Williams at Silverstone. Is there a little bit of pressure building inside?
Yeah, of course. We're aiming obviously to kind of beginning of the year, we aim a little bit higher to at least maintain trying to be P6, if not higher up. We clearly didn't achieve that, but on the other hand, we was very close together with Williams and also Haas, for the whole season, and unfortunately got overtaken for that last weekend out, so not ideal. But pressure is high, but I think the main focus is really to get more out of the package, to be quicker in terms of develop more upgrades coming through the second half of the season. And it's clear, if we have the performance of the car and we can develop or delivery what Alex or both Williams was doing that whole weekend, it was extremely quick, top 3 all sessions. So.
All right, look, best of luck this weekend. Thank you. Fernando, let's come to you now. 20 years since that first win. How vividly do you remember 2003?
I do remember. It was obviously a magical moment of my life and my career as well. It changed a little bit everything after that. And it was a qualifying that we had to put the fuel for the race for the first stint. So we thought on Saturday night that we were very light on fuel, and maybe the race will unfold differently, and maybe top 5 was possible, or a podium I think was the realistic target. we ended up winning the race, and it was a little bit of a surprise, and we were very happy.
You say it changed something. What did it change?
It changed, I think, a little bit, especially off track, many things in my life and in Spain as well. No more privacy in my life since 20 years. Yeah.
And then the hashtag started then. Hashtag 2, hashtag 3, hashtag 33 now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the first win is probably, a big thing, and it happened to all the drivers. And as I said, for me, it was a big change. Now, into this weekend, we do have, some hopes into this weekend after some strugglings in Austria and Silverstone, so hopefully a better one.
Well, tell us a little bit more about that. Why are you more confident coming into the Hungarian?
I think because the layout of the track and the characteristics are a little bit more similar to the circuits that we did perform well so far this year. And I think high-speed corners, long straights are not maybe the strength of our package. And I think Austria and Silverstone were a clear example of those. So yeah, hopefully here we can come back to a more a strong performance, even though our main competitors, they did, improve their package, and they will be very, very strong as well here. So it's going to be difficult, but hopefully good fun.
And can we get your thoughts on the alternative tyre allocation that we're running for the first time this weekend at the Hungaroring? Do you like being told what tyres to run in each segment of qualifying?
Yeah, why not? I think it will not change too many things. As you said, we have to use certain type of tire in each of the qualifyings, but it's the same for everybody. So it should not be a thing that should change too many things. And we save a couple of sets, I think, for Pirelli. Instead of 13, we have 11 per driver. So 2 sets for 20 drivers. Obviously, there is a lot of sets that maybe Formula One can save. So there are a reason behind that we should support and at least try it. And let's see after this weekend, if there are any tweaks that maybe are needed for the future.
All right, Fernando, thank you. Best of luck to you. Logan, let's come to you now. Best result of the season so far at Silverstone with that P11. Do you feel that you made a step forward there?
Yeah, I think I'm making steps in the right direction, but still not where I want to be. There's plenty of work to still be done, but I see the progress. I see it's moving in the right direction. That's what matters. But yeah, still striving to be better, and I think this weekend in particular isn't going to be perfect for what we have in our car, but we'll make the most of it, and yeah, hopefully optimize on what we were just speaking about with a different qualifying format.
And what about the upgraded Williams? The performance was so strong at Silverstone. What can you hope for here?
Yeah, well, I think, for sure Budapest isn't a track that's going to be great for us. So we have to manage expectations coming off the back of 2 decent weekends for the team. But yeah, I think there's always opportunity. You never know until you put the car on the ground. So we'll stay optimistic and see what we can do.
All right, best of luck to you. Thank you very much. Nico, let's come to you. Can you explain the new look, first of all? Was it a bet?
Fascinating what a bit of dyed hair can do. No, not a bet. It's just a bit of, that Barbie movie came out, and I thought a bit of, extra PR for me is pretty handy this time of the season. Actually, no, I wasn't aware about it, and I didn't really play with Barbie and Ken when I was a child, so I just ran into this one, and bad timing, I guess.
Now, look, before we talk about Haas, can we just get your thoughts on the return of your former teammate, Daniel Ricciardo, this weekend? What did you make of that?
Yeah, I mean, a lot more smiles, a lot more teeth, you can see there. Going to be interesting to see. I think there's actually quite a strong race car. Will be interesting to see what Danny can do with it. Obviously, he's had now a good 8-9 months out. A bit of a reset, and to be out of the hot seat for a while, I think is quite nice. I speak from experience, so he's probably quite fresh and reset and ready to go. So, going to be exciting to see what he can do.
Now, the Hungaroring is often referred to as Monaco without the walls. Given that your car wasn't particularly competitive at Monaco,
where are you going?
How confident can you be coming into this one?
Yeah, as confident as we can be. I mean, it's been a bit tough lately, a bit of a dry spell also in terms of point scoring, apart from obviously Austria and the sprint race. Here it's very hot, it's very demanding on tires, so you know, it's going to be definitely a tough weekend for us. We have a few little upgrades to the car on the floors, so hopefully, you know, they can push us along a little bit. But I expect a very, you know, tight field again. So you know, every session matters, every lap matters. I think quali for us with that new rules of how we have to run the tires, the hard in Q1 is probably not favorable for us. So extra challenge there, but we'll just take it on.
And Hulk, final one from me. There's quite a lot of speculation about your future. Gene Haas is going to be here this weekend. Are you hoping to sit down with him and maybe get a deal done before the summer break?
I'll sit down with him regardless. Maybe there is no deal to be done. Maybe the deal is in place. Who knows? You know, I'm pretty happy and relaxed. I think it works both ways at the moment, and I'm enjoying myself. I think the team is also in a good place. So there's no reason, you know, not to think why that relationship shouldn't continue like this.
All right, well, good luck with that. Good luck with the on-track performance as well. George, coming to you now. Thank you for waiting. So we're back at the scene of your first ever pole position in Formula One. That happened 12 months ago. What chance of repeat this weekend?
Yeah, I'll be pushing for it for sure. It's now looking forward to seeing what the weekend's going to hold. It's been an interesting few races with our performance in Austria, then really quite strong in Silverstone. You know, we're still battling forward and still really focused to keep on progressing. We're in a good position, but we need to try and stay ahead of our competitors.
Have you been surprised by the fluctuations in form that you've been going through?
I think that's the same for all the teams up and down the grid. You see, you know, Aston at the start of the year were really strong. They've maybe taken a small step backwards. Same with Ferrari at certain races, and I'm sure even Red Bull to a small degree. You know, at some races they were 30 seconds ahead. Last week they were 3 seconds ahead, albeit with the safety car. But you know, they weren't running away with things. So, you know, we are closing that gap. It seems like the whole field is slightly more compact, which makes it exciting. And the small details make a big difference. As I said, we're focused. We've got that P2 in the Constructors' Championship in our sights and what we're aiming for. And but we're still pushing for more and try and get some race wins along the way.
All right. Best of luck with that. Thank you very much. We're going to open this to the floor now. Please give your name and publication. Who's got the first question, please?
Hi, I'm Zach. This is a question for all the drivers. This weekend at the Hungarian Grand Prix, we're hosting our first ever F1 Junior show, and kids are going to be taking over the broadcast. What do you think about this in the potential future, that kids will be taking over the broadcast?
I think it's very exciting, and Crofty's got something to be worried about. So, no, I think it's great what you guys are doing. Formula One, bringing the kids show to the sport, and I know with my sort of niece and nephew who follow the sport a lot, for them to have the chance to see it in a slightly younger format is going to be exciting. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing what you guys are up to.
Okay, just get a couple more thoughts because we're short on time. Hulk?
Yeah, same. Are you a good negotiator? You got a good deal out of this? Because, you know, he loves F1, but he doesn't do it for free, so.
I'll take 10% of anything you get in the future.
See?
And Fernando, your thoughts? Same? Okay, look, we're going to have one more question before the break, please.
Hi, I'm Ruby, the Sky Kids reporter from Germany. This question is for George and Alonso. Max is always on the podium. Are you jealous about his car, and did you ever think about ganging up on Max?
Should we? Should we gang up on him somehow?
We are jealous.
We are jealous, yeah, for sure. For sure, we're jealous, but we all get our opportunity to stand on that podium. he's getting the opportunity a few more times than we are, but things have a way of working themselves out. So I'm sure, hopefully, the tables will turn in the near future.
All right.
Yeah, I don't want to add anything.
Jealous.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Look, with that, we're going to take a short break and come back with some questions from the print media in just a minute.
Okay, looking ahead to the weekend then, let's get our pundits' predictions as well. I know it's on a Thursday, so I'm not going to ask you pick a winner because you'll both say Verstappen and then we can just sign off quite quickly. Instead, I'm going to ask you who's going to surprise us this weekend, a driver who's going to go, oh, yeah, they'll be quick. So, Omi, I'll start with you. Who's going to surprise us this weekend?
Ocon, I'd say. And
for goodness sake, I was going to pick him.
Well, with Ocon, he's done well here previously, and obviously, and also the feeder series in GP3, didn't do GP2, so he did well in GP3 here a few years back in 2015. So yeah, I think he'll do well. I'm also predicting Aston Martin to do well. I think McLaren won't be as good this weekend, but they'll bounce back in Belgium. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. I think Mercedes also will be in there, and so will Ferrari. But I have a feeling McLaren will just take a bit of a step back for this weekend.
Jess, you've got 5 teams you can choose from now because Omi's taken half the field. Go Apex or something like that. Really, you know, the 11th team on the grid.
I don't know. I'm gonna go for. I'm gonna be bold here. I'm gonna go for George Russell.
Ooh.
George Russell. Had a bit of a setback the last couple of weeks. If he didn't have that safety car, he would have finished on the podium. Has scored pretty much brilliantly in Hungary. Got double points with the team at Williams. Got his first pole here as well. Finished on the podium there. I think George Russell would have, I think it's going to swing a surprise. It would have been Ocon, but Omi nicked it from me. So yeah, it's George Russell.
Okay, thank you both for that. Let's take a look then at the times for this weekend so you know exactly where we're going to be throughout the Hungarian Grand Prix. We begin on Friday at 8:50am with the F3 practice, F2 practice from 9:55, F1's first practice at 12:15, F3 qualifying at 2, and F2 qualifying at 2:45, F1's second practice from 3:45. They're all British summer time. Saturday, F3 sprint is at 8:40, practice 3 for F1, 11:15, F2's sprint race 1:05, F1's qualifying from 2:45. On Sunday, F3 feature race 7:15, F2's feature race 8:55, Porsche Super Cup from 10:55am. But the Grand Prix build-up to Hungary starts 1:30 British Summer Time, lights out at 2. So there's a lot to look forward to as well. And also don't forget to tune in to Omi's shows on JB Motorsports 2. Apologies, I must say, for the British Grand Prix from when we were taken off air. We're still fighting that. But in the event it happens again, we have got an immediate backup on JB Motorsports. So you just have to refresh the page and you'll see JB Motorsports is live. Fingers crossed it won't happen again though. But this time, from now on, we are streaming everywhere. We've got JB Motorsports 1 with the backup on the same channel. We have JB Motorsports 2 and also the JB Motorsports Twitch channel as well, which you can join us from now on. Every main broadcast will be on there as well. Next weekend it gets tricky though because of the amount of series we've got on, so sort of sorting out the Twitch schedule to see what's going to be fitting, and then we'll replay content later. I know Jess is going to be very busy next weekend with support series, touring cars, Omi as well with the Porsches, myself going everywhere. I think there's about 4 different races on at one time, so we're going to be a very busy team next weekend at Spa. But right now, Hungary is one of the nicer ones before the summer break next week, so my thanks to Jess. And I must say, Jess, good luck at Silverstone over the weekend as well on your first on-site commentary. I'm going to be enjoying that. Does it feel weird that 2 weeks ago you were at Silverstone for a race and now you're going there in the commentary box?
It does feel weird, actually, and I found out, interesting fact, actually, I can tell this because I'm allowed to tell this. I actually found out when I was on the train to Silverstone, I actually got a message saying, oh, I was meant to get a media pass for it, so I was actually going to that anyway. But it said, oh, they will actually want you in the commentary box. And I was like, yes, and then I had to quickly tell work saying, can I have those days off? And they were like, Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, pretty surreal, very nervous, but hopefully the action will be good there, and I can catch up on Hungary straight afterwards as well. And I'm staying close to the circuit.
Oh,
this
that's
time,
better.
So that's good.
That's a lot better. Good luck, Jess. I can't wait as well, and hopefully we get to hear some of it. Put a camera up or something so you can record the races. I'd love to hear it. Omi will be with us throughout the weekend, although not in the practice sessions for the sports series. And Megan's back with us for qualifying and the race, literally, because she said if you put me in any of the practice sessions, I'll have a go. So after last weekend where she did everything, I think it's fair she needed qualifying the race. But we've got Tom's with us for the practice, Josh T's back, and Adam joins us for practice 2 and qualifying, and of course the IndyCar race at Iowa. And Josh T's joined the commentary box at the wrong time because he's disrupted the ending of the programme. Do you know, some of these days I could just, there you go. We say his name once and he pops up at the end of it. Every time. It's a good thing. Do you know, this is pre-recorded. We could just go back and do the last 5 minutes, but we've all got things to do, so we'll see it in. Thanks, Josh T. We'll see you shortly. Okay, well, thanks to Jess, my thanks to Birmingham, and thanks to Josh T for popping up like, what is it? Beetlejuice, you say his name. Yeah. So we'll see you all tomorrow for practice 1. Bye-bye.